After I told him to hold off on the work, I'd have to say I did not try to contact him after that.
Okay.
So I just let it go, and then it wasn't until now when I was going to lose my homeowner's insurance that I decided that I needed to go ahead and get this taken care of. I was just going to let it be a wash and just let it go. But then when I found out that I was losing my homeowner's insurance because of how the deck was done, that it wasn't ever completed, that's when I decided I needed to get back and
Was it
have
because of what he did or because of how your deck was in general? Like, had he never even touched your deck, would it have passed inspection?
Probably not.
Right. Do you think that if you had let him finish the work,
That it would have passed?
Yes.
No.
How do you know that?
How the 2x4s were not level. I don't feel like it was stable enough for us to even put the composite boards on top.
But we'll never know because you never actually gave him the opportunity to finish.
Okay.
And you don't think that he needs to be compensated for, you estimated 10 to 12, he said 20 hours. You don't think that he's owed any money for the 10 to 12 hours he spent working?
Yes.
He should be.
Yeah,
But you're asking for all your money back.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Okay. Judge Juarez.
Do you think she should be entitled to any money back because you didn't actually do the second half of the work?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Why not?
The reason I say not is because she let her own personal feelings or whatever happen between her and her grandson and told me not to come back originally.
Okay.
Of course, the homeowner's insurance is going to cancel because she never let me finish the deck.
So you basically had an agreement. I mean, you had an oral agreement, and you were standing ready and willing to perform your side of the agreement, and then she stopped the agreement.
Yep.
So,
Can I?
yeah, please, go ahead.
It snowed.
It snowed, okay.
And there's no way that he would be able to go out and work in the snow. And when he was doing part of the work, it was dark. He had this other job that he was working at, and he wasn't coming over until late. And we were at standard daytime.
Right.
You know, it was winter time.
Right.
You know, so there was no way that he could have done it in the dark and with the snow there.
But we don't know that, right? Because what we have is we have the written evidence, right? We have the communications between you both. He says, I'm told you don't need me to come back, and you say that's right. And then the very last thing we heard is, let me know as soon as you're ready. And you say, okay.
But if he was ready to do that, why didn't he reach back out to me, though, too?
Could I submit this other piece real quick so you guys can take a look
Yeah,
at
please.
it?
Tell us what it is, Officer.
This is another deck I actually built with my uncle. That was the first deck I built. That deck is still there to this day, and it was built probably about 7 years ago, and it looks just like that.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open this up to my colleagues.
Mr. Fling, is this deck here about the same size and
I believe that one was a little bit smaller.
smaller? Were you permitted to do this kind of work as a non-licensed contractor?
I've done it before. Usually there's...
That's not an answer. Thank you.
Mr. Fling, if to the best of your knowledge, if she was going to have somebody come in and do blueprinted, you know, a blueprinted deck and with all this stuff, would they have to basically take out your work no matter what, even if it was perfectly well done, or would they have been able to build on your work?
I believe unless she wanted it in a complete different shape other than what we had talked about.
They could have probably built on your work?
I did.
All right.
Well, you did say, Ms. Gazaway, that he cost you even more money to fix the mess. You actually spent more money?
No, I took it out myself. I took out the foundation that he put in so that I would not be charged by my contractor.
So that's not a true statement then? It did not cost you any more money?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay, so the parties are excused while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you both. All right, we've reached a verdict. It's not unanimous. Judge Tawalda and Judge Juarez believe that you failed to meet your burden, Ms. Gazaway, on 2 counts. Number 1, that the work was shoddy, and number 2, that you breached the contract. Therefore, if you breached the contract, according to their understanding of the facts, you are not entitled to anything. On the other hand, I disagreed with them. I thought that even though the contract was essentially ended by you, that nevertheless, in spite of that, we should use a quantum merit analysis, which means that we would calculate the value of the work a defendant performed for you, and he should be compensated for that. And since he didn't finish, I would have given you some money back for that. But this is majority rules, and therefore the verdict of the court is that your complaint is dismissed.